Imagine a rookie superstar facing criticism, a coach vehemently protecting her, and then a teammate breaks the story, asserting that everything we believed to be true was false. That's precisely what occurred just now in the WNBA, and it's completely upending the league. What started out as a touching gesture from the head coach of the Indiana Fever, Stephanie White's situation has escalated into a much larger locker room controversy, anxiety throughout the league, and a cultural conflict that divides players, supporters, and often entire teams. And in the center of it, Sophie Cunningham is a player who is renowned for her tenacity, her passion, and her courage to speak up while others are just whispering. Caitlin Clark is a movement rather than merely a player. She's generating enormous endorsement agreements, record-breaking viewership, and introducing women's basketball to a whole new audience. Not only did her move from Iowa to the WNBA make her famous, transformed her into a rod of lightning, but there was blowback along with all that enthusiasm, from severe fouls that caused spectators to gasping, to derisive remarks from league veterans, to never-ending discussions in the media over whether she deserves the. From the beginning, Clark has been under constant scrutiny. However, the online comments have been heated for more than simply the games. Here are the opinions of YouTubers, critics, and experts.
I think that everyone saw that. We kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game, and so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now.
With Stephanie White under fire by Fever fans, she blasted her team after the squad's loss to the Golden State Valkyries, which was a rough watch. No question about it. Says there is correct. But she's going to get criticism because of the mixing of the lineups and the way Caitlin Clark was utilized, or the idea of playing Caitlin Clark off the ball, which has been an on and off topic all season long.
Fucking dodging, you got to look both ways before you cross the street. Everybody's taking shots at us Caitlin Clark fans, the Chicago Sky vloggers, the content creators, the Angel Reese content creators are firing at us non-stop. We got to keep our head on a swivel, y'all. We got to keep our head on a swivel. Stephanie White's a bum and needs to be fired. That's what's going on. Did y'all see the interviews today? Sophie Cunningham just exposed Stephanie White. Flat out exposed her.
So today, lads, obviously there's going to be a lot of videos about Stephanie White because we need to be honest here. Stephanie White's not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to stop until her style of drag everyone down to their level basketball prevails.
Years pass, but when Caitlin Clark has become the Caitlin Clark we loved and we've grown to see, Caitlin Clark has the ball in her damn hands, bro. Caitlin Clark has the ball in her hands, and she said verbatim herself that they run a read and react offense. You know what that is? The ball's in Caitlin's hands. Now, there has been a large speculation that Caitlin Clark.
I've never thought that I would be saying this late last year in November when the Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White. I never thought I'd be saying this right now, only 19 games into the 2025 season, that it's time for Stephanie White to go.
To watch a 19-point loss, Caitlin Clark's return, in which, since this is a lady we're talking about, it looks like Stephanie White has spaded Caitlin Clark, for lack of a better way of putting it. If it was a dude, I'd say neutered, but, you get my point.
Sophie Cunningham went on the record to basically say what I've been saying and everyone else. Give the damn ball to Caitlin. Whatever offense we running right now, it is not working. You have to give the ball to Caitlin and let Caitlin do what Caitlin has.
Stephanie White had had enough at last. She defended her rookie during a press conference following the game, saying, "She is managing a degree of pressure that no rookie has ever encountered while maintaining her composure. We must keep her safe, not bring her down." The storm seemed to be about to subside for a brief moment, supporters came together in support of White's remarks. Perhaps, just possibly, Clark would finally get a break as the headlines faded. However, Sophie Cunningham intervened, and everything was altered. Never one to keep quiet, Cunningham, just traded to the Fever, released a shocking revelation that caught everyone off guard. All of them. White's defense of Clark in public. It was performative, according to Sophie. Yes, defending your star is simple. Player in front of the camera, but what goes on behind closed doors? Sophie says it's a completely different story. The true drama starts at that point. We talk a lot, but what about the responsibility? Sophie Cunningham's one sentence caused a stir in the league. Consider what she's actually saying. It goes beyond simply criticizing Stephanie. White's news conference. It takes aim at the entire culture of the Fever. It's an obvious message. It's not what you see on camera. Taking place in private, whispers abruptly became headlines. Then the leaks started to sound like whispers. Was conflict in the locker room, with players subtly picking sides. Colleagues who witnessed Caitlin Clark on one side. On the other hand, those who think she's been given too much, too soon, a privileged celebrity writing. Excitement that casts a shadow over everyone else. Cunningham's remarks not only fanned the flames, but also tore the cover a deeper gap. What did she say? Honestly brutal? I can see how much hate she receives and how hard she works. And the quiet that surrounds it says a lot, defending her need to be an integral part of who we are, not only a newspaper remark. As a group. It was more than simply a jab at White. Everyone in the locker room found it to be a challenge, and a wake-up call. You contribute to the issue if you remain silent when Clark is targeted, elbowed, or isolated. Furthermore, this isn't a newbie seeking attention. This is veteran Sophie Cunningham. Battle-tested in Phoenix, someone who has experienced both praise and hardship. People pay attention when she speaks up. Stephanie White was compelled to react due of the media frenzy. She remained composed. But what did she say? They felt secure. We are strong because of our enthusiastic players. Sophie has her own viewpoint, and I honor that. However, it is my responsibility to create a cohesive culture and safeguard all players, including Caitlin. Although it sounded professional on paper, many fans weren't persuaded. It was dubbed corporate jargon by some. White was criticized by some of avoiding the important question, if Caitlin Clark is being targeted every single night. Why doesn't anyone intervene to keep her safe? Caitlin Clark is a movement as well as a player. She's breaking driving records. Viewership, large sponsorship deals, and introducing women's basketball to a completely new audience. A younger, predominantly white audience watching the WNBA for the first time. Here's the unsettling reality though. Resentment has been sparked by her ascent. Some seasoned ladies in the league who have worked hard for years without this spotlight felt neglected, as if everything had changed the instant Clark showed up. And Sophie Cunningham is at this point. Intervenes, positioned between two radically different universes. As a veteran, she understands the challenges. However, she also recognizes Clark as a once-in-a-generation talent. Furthermore, Cunningham's message was unable to put it another way, if we don't support her, we will lose followers and momentum. The saddest part is that we'll lose our integrity as a league. That is a challenge to the WNBA itself, not merely a popular opinion. Will they defend their potential star, or allow the league to devour her? And while she's surrounded by chaos, nothing is done by Caitlin Clark. No press conference. There are no call-outs. Not to fault. She lets her game speak for her, being silent and stoic. However, insiders claim there's more occurring in the background. Cunningham and Clark? They've become closer. Before games, they trained together. In the midst of the tempest, they formed a quiet alliance while discussing tactics on the bench. Cunningham even shared a picture on Instagram. 3 words summed up a recent story. Protect what matters. No context, no tag. However, everyone understood who she was referring to. Sophie is correct, too. It's true that jealousy permeates locker rooms and influences how rivals play Clark, and igniting a discussion throughout the league. Fans are supporting Sophie, and insiders are praising her for her bravery. Even other players are subtly supporting her audacious decision. However, this raises an important question. What comes next? What is the next step in this process? The Indiana Fever are currently in a crucial phase of their campaign. It's no longer simply about victories and losses. It has to do with trust. It has to do with leadership. Additionally, it concerns if this locker space is able to endure.